Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Hey, what is happening? It is Gas Masks and Hand Grenades here. I'm your host, Jeff, and we're a wee bit late here. Scott got caught up in some of that SoCal traffic tonight on the way in, and so it's keeping in mind it's only like 7:30 out his way. It's late out here on the East Coast. But Scott, how you doing, man?
Very good. Traffic is real. It's a real thing.
We'll pretend that we didn't already talk for a couple minutes here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I didn't really have like an opening sequence for you. I should have, but I didn't because this, as I was kind of explaining to you with this kind of came together kind of circuitously. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. And then I did find out it was happening. And so it was kind of one of those things. But let's just talk about the fact that I confused you with the other Scott Reeder that lives in California of the stoner band Caius. But then you just told me you actually played with him in another band. So tell me about that real quick.
Yeah, so we have Bob from Fu Manchu and I have a project that we started actually with Reeder, the other Scott Reeder, called the Sun and Sail Club. The first record we did was a record called Mannequin, which is it's pretty like almost sort of progressive V-punk kind of.
Okay.
But the vocals are all done with a vocoder. So it's like a robot sings the entire record. And then for the second album, we had Tony B from the Adolescents come in and actually do real vocals. And that record was called The Great White Dope. And then we have a new record actually that's in the works. Actually, Tony's finishing vocals on it, I think, Saturday, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And that's going to come out hopefully around the beginning of next year, but I can't be for sure.
Okay,
but
cool.
It's pretty brutal, and it's very much in the spirit of Circle Jerks, Group Sex.
Okay.
You know, it's very...
So that Southern California punk stuff.
But it's also like ridiculous, spazzy, fast, uncontrolled rock. I think there's like 10 songs and like 25 minutes on the record or something.
Oh, so it's almost like a Napalm Death album, but only not grind.
There's a lot of influence in there.
Nice, man.
So it's a chance to do some stuff that's even, faster than the things that we do in Fu Manchu. And
right. And I think that's something we need to note real quick for people that maybe don't know who you are. You are the drummer and backing vocalist for Fu Manchu, and you've been in that band a long time. Are we talking close to 30 years now, I believe?
20 some years, going back to 2001, yeah.
2001, so a little over 20 then. Okay.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Fu Manchu, Southern California stoner, doom, surf a little bit of punk in there, kind of a little bit of all those things that are really cool. And a
little bit of Devo.
What's that?
A little bit of Devo.
Little Devo, yeah, for
Probably
sure.
a lot of Devo, actually, yeah.
Yeah. I listened to the most recent album, which was 18, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And give me the name of it. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down.
Clone of the Universe.
Clone of the Universe, yeah. And that album is kind of, I guess, renowned in your catalog because we'll just get into it now and get it out of the way, and then we'll get to your solo album, which is the main reason you're here, is to talk about your first solo album under the moniker Jacket Thief called Lights Out on the Shore. We're going to get to that, a lot of that, because I've spent a lot of time with it in the last week and thoroughly enjoyed it. So we'll get to that in a sec. But I think most people that maybe don't know Fu Manchu might know that in 2018, you guys had this little-known Canuck, this guy from some band in Canada. I think, was it a band called Rush? Is that the band?
Yes, it was. Ding, ding.
Some dude named Zvinovich. Lurks, exactly, Lurks. So some little-known dude named Alex Lifeson. And I will say that is the centerpiece track on that album. It's 18 minutes long. It's actually
18 minutes and 6 seconds long, which is the exact length of side one of Hemispheres. We made sure that we made it exactly that track because there's a very long feedback hold on the record. and we made sure I grabbed my copy of the remaster of Hemispheres, and I wanted to make sure that we had the exact listing on the vinyl that was exactly the same. So
that's so fucking cool, dude. Like, okay, so
I'm
let's
not
get
trying
it
to
out of the
imagine.
way here.
Trying to imagine sitting on that and not being able to tell anybody, because we couldn't tell anybody.
Right, of course not. Yeah. Wow. Well, I kind of know what that's like because have you ever heard of the band Porcupine Tree?
Yeah. Gavin
Okay,
Harrison.
so I used to do work for them way back in the
Okay,
90s
yeah.
and 2000s. And Alex did a solo on Anesthetize, which was on their Fear of a Blank Planet album.
Right,
And
yeah.
I knew about that right before it came out, and I was told if I said a word, I'd never be spoken to again. So I had to like literally be like, because Alex is the guy that made me pick up a guitar without question. He's the dude. Him and this guy here.
That dude.
That guy. Who I'm hoping to interview next week, which should be really cool. But Frank Marino's another guy too. The Canadian guitar players, man, they do something for me. So are you a huge Rush fan?
Oh yeah,
Are all the guys?
I'm probably, because I'm a drummer, I'm probably the biggest fan of
Neil
of all, and I just went to Australia for a second.
Just went Australian.
Yeah, I think that around the time of Signals was my record. Everybody kind of cites Moving Pictures, but actually 2 of the very first vinyl that I ever got from a parent of a friend of mine, I believe that's how it goes, if I remember correctly. She gave me Caress of Steel and Kiss Alive.
Okay, yeah.
And those 2 records. And so obviously I knew about Kiss, but I didn't know anything about Rush. Come to find out, of course, years later, they toured together.
They toured together a lot. Yeah.
But so those were the first 2 records, and I remember putting it on and going looking at Geddy on the inside of the album cover and going, wow, this guy sounds exactly like he looks.
Yeah, right.
And then getting to side 2 of the whatever that song is in the Fountain of Lameth.
Fountain of Lameth.
The Dead Axe and Narpets or whatever that is. And going what? Because I was listening to the Peter Criss 100,000 Years drum solo, which is still
killer.
I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Killer.
I do not care. Those first 6 Kiss records, you can't fuck with them. You just can't.
I love them, dude.
Take away all of everything, and I defy anybody to say that they wouldn't want to write songs that are that good and that catchy for 6 records in a row. And
my first album I bought was Kiss Alive with my own money, and my very first concert, we're the same age. I think you're about a half year older than me. I'm
52, yeah.
I'm 57. So how old are you?
52.
Oh, you're 52. Then you are younger than me. That must be the other Scott Reeder I was looking at.
That's him.
I'm gonna fuck that up all night long, man.
Don't age me 5 years, bro.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to be where
myself.
I'm at. Trust me. So I am a little bit older than you. I was born in '66. So first show was Dynasty. Believe it or not. Actually, I had tickets for Love Gun, but I pissed my mom off. She tore the ticket up, taped it together, and gave it to the neighbor girl, and she went. So my second show, and you'll appreciate this, Permanent Waves.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I got to see the full 2112 before they started cutting it down, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And it was the first time I got stoned at a concert.
Well, if you're going to do it at a Rush concert, is the place to do it.
Absolutely.
I think I got very stoned in the parking lot of the very first Rush concert I went to, but it was early enough that it wore off. But we were sitting in the parking lot of the Forum and trying to eat cheeseburgers in the back of a Citroen, and there was just clouds everywhere. And I thought my head was melting. And
which tour was that? Which album?
Believe it or not, it was Hold Your Fire.
Okay. Hey, man.
And that record is, obviously not one that's. I just think it's one of those things where they're a band where every record has at least 5 good songs on it. And maybe
I would argue that's much better than that. I would argue that's an album that when it came out, it was very of its time, and the production makes it sound of its time.
Yeah,
but there's some absolutely fucking amazing songs on that album.
There's some playing on that. I mean, on Mission, that song.
Oh,
Mission
yeah.
it's crazy when they did it on the Snakes and Arrows tour. I went back and sort of rediscovered that song because there was a really good the very end of it when Alex's solo, you know, because they always did that thing where they made stuff sound so much better live, and
Right.
I was like, you know, they're exactly like the record, but they're better. And so I always wanted to be in a band that was better than the album and different. And then when I was going through my heavy Neil Peart phase, and then all of a sudden MTV showed The Song Remains the Same, I went, what? What is?
Yeah, who's that dude?
You can do that. You can do that with just that. And then that kind of changed everything for me. And I was like, I want to do that because I'm never going to be able to do that. So
right.
if I have less drum, you know, so that was kind of my beginning.
So Bonham was kind of is Bonham kind of your apex predator then for you?
I mean, he like a lot of people that he's the onion that keeps getting peeled, I think, for everybody, because there are still things that I hear that I never heard before. And it's kind of like, you know, you go back to I got to stop saying, you know.
Yeah.
I say it so much. I forget it's supposed to be a little note here that says, you know, so you don't say it.
I know. I do it too, man. I know.
But you go back to the well over and over again, and you get, you get inspiration and sounds, and everybody goes through that phase where they go, I want the same drums, I want the da-da-da-da, and then you realize you're never going to sound like him until, you know, you make a record with somebody and they go, you want to sound like him? Get a shovel and go dig him up.
Yeah, right.
The only way it's going to happen. And
yeah.
So we it got a pretty funny story, though. We did visit his gravesite to pay our respects.
Oh, really? Is he out in Santa Monica or is he up in Canada?
Oh, no, we're talking about Bonham.
Oh, you're talking about Bonham. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Neil Peart. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, nobody knows where Neil is. Nobody will ever know.
Okay, gotcha.
He's in the ether where he wanted to be, for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, we went to Bonham's grave in Rushock Parish, and my tour manager, I think, at the time, Richard Cole, Zeppelin's tour manager, was tour managing us. I think, if I get these years mixed up, I'm not sure. But we went and we were playing 2 nights at the Wolverhampton Civic, and we had maybe a day off between, or even the show day, and we took the train out to Kidderminster and all, you know, the Bonham and his and Plant's stomping grounds, and we found the church, the little tiny church. His headstone's behind the church, about the size of a dresser, and everybody leaves sticks, and we're standing there, and you know, the cab meter's running in English pounds, and I don't want to leave because this is the closest I'm ever going to be to John Bonham.
Yeah.
We're standing there and we're just tripping on it because you're in the presence, but you're not in the presence. And so I looked at Gabe, our sound guy that went with me, and I said, well, I guess it's about time we should go. And right when we said, okay, we're going to go. Here comes a black dog around the corner of the church.
No way.
And he comes right in front of the headstone, and he sits down and he lays on his back and puts his feet in the air. And I said, okay, if that's not a sign. And I told that story to Jason Bonham when we were at NAMM one year for Ludwig.
Right.
And because the dog belonged to this guy Jennings. And he's like, oh, that was old man Jennings. Yeah, I used to go and hang out with his daughter. He didn't know it, though.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How about that? That's trippy.
That was the same year that they did the reunion.
With the O2 thing, right?
Yeah, later in the year. So
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, Bonham is the. I'd have to say Bonham. Peart's an influence, but he's more so an influence in just constantly trying to get better and trying to one up yourself as far as being prepared and doing. I don't think I play like him in any way. And then I definitely say Dale Crover from the Melvins.
From the Melvins, right? Sure.
Yeah, those 3 guys. As far as heavy rock goes, those are the players I love. I love
That's the
Steve
guys.
Dorman from the Black Crowes, and Steve Ferroni and Stan Lynch from the Heartbreakers, and you know, there's just so many people. Bill Stevenson. Those are the people that come top of mind to me. That
Nice.
I really love, strumming wise.
I noticed one little thing when I came onto your Instagram page, because I was looking to see if I could hit you with a direct message to find out if we could play some tunes tonight, because Austin didn't get back to me. And the first thing I noticed was, and I'm curious, do you know who Praetorian Animus is?
That is actually Michael.
You know Michael.
Michael Mosbach, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know Michael because I met him back in the days when I was doing stuff with PT. And in fact, Michael's the reason I got to meet Geddy and Alex, because they were playing Hershey, Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania. I live in Lancaster, which is near, kind of in between Philly and Harrisburg. And I had tickets to go to the show. And long story, this is on Snakes and Arrows. Long story short, I got to the venue and I was told by a girlfriend that was, I think she was kind of seeing Michael or something at the time. I forget. Anyways, she's like, "Oh, Brian's got you covered." Or Michael's got you covered, not Brian. And so I get to the venue and there's a ticket there, but I've already got a ticket. I'm already in. And my seat's like in the first 8 rows, because I was always like, I've seen Rush. I saw Rush through the final tour. I saw them 38 times. So I was, every tour I was going to multiple shows. And yeah, I mean, dude, like Rush is my holy trinity. That is the band for me that no one will ever be better than them. Sorry. It's just the reality. So I get there and I'm like, I open it up and there's no backstage access thing. I'm like, oh. So I call my girlfriend. I'm like, can you get in touch with Michael and tell him he forgot to leave the, the after or the before show thing, right? Because they did this little thing where you come in and meet and greet, and it was got like 30 seconds, if that,
Yeah.
So she starts trying to get a hold of Michael. She's like, I can't find him. I can't get him. I'm like, give me his number. So I start calling him. I'm like, oh man, I'm being that guy, and I don't want to be that guy, but this is the only time this is ever going to happen, right? I'm standing by the area where they're letting people back. People are lining up. There might be 20 people lining up to go back, right? And I'm explaining to the person, could you get Michael, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I just work here, dude. I can't help you out. I'm sorry. Long story short, they start going back. And all these people are like, dude, man. And I'm literally close to tears. Like literally probably the closest I've ever been to tears over something like that in my life. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. And just then I see Michael go running by and I yell and he kind of looks over and he doesn't know what's going on. And I get the head of security, go grab him. And he comes out. He's like, dude, I totally forgot. And I got to go back. So it was like, yeah. And this was in not a stadium, it was an outdoor stadium in Hershey Park. And there's probably 12,000 people there. So it was like, and then everybody starts seeing me come back and they're like, yeah, everybody's cheering. And it's like, triumph of spirit. So, well, listen, let's get into you here a little bit. So you've been with Fu Manchu for over 20 years. How many albums have you been on now with those guys?
Let's see. 1 live record, 5 studio records, numerous EPs. Actually, no, 2 live records, a soundtrack. We've got, quite a bit of stuff. So, I mean, I know at least 5 studio records, the 2 live records, the soundtrack for the Dogtown movie. And then we just recently did, I think, 3 EPs that had a bunch of new songs on them, but those are going to be out as a 12-inch. So that'll be 6 studio records. We're getting ready to do the next one in November.
Yeah, you're working on a new one, right?
Proper one. Yeah, the drums are going to go down first week of November. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How did you migrate to Fu Manchu? You were in a band called Smile at one point, right? Is that your first band?
Yeah, that was the band that I was in the 90s. That's actually, we used to play shows with Fu Manchu here locally in Costa Mesa. And then Brad and I just always struck up a friendship and were kindred spirits of heavy rock. And we just always kept in touch. And then the Smile thing had kind of run its course. And they, Brant was leaving the band. So he asked me, and of course I jumped at the chance because I was a fan. And they said, okay, we have a new album out, and we're going on the road to like 17 countries for the next year, so learn it. And I had to learn all these songs, and so my first release was the Go For It live record, which we're going to be reissuing here in a couple of, I think in about a month, I think, for its 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary, yeah.
But you've also done some work with, you were a live drummer with Social Distortion a couple years back, right?
Yeah, I did some stuff with them. I don't know if you know that girl, Orianthe. She's a guitar player.
Yeah, the female. She was with Michael Jackson for a while, right?
She was Michael Jackson and did some stuff on her own, and played with Alice Cooper for a little bit. So did some stuff with her. And then, I've just played and done various studio sessions over time. And, hey, come in, put a vocal, come in, whatever, play some drums for stuff people that, have never really, they've heard it, but they don't know who it is kind of thing. So
right.
I've done a lot of that stuff. And I teach drums as well. So
right. And I wanted to mention after tonight, well, not before the last time I spoke to Austin, I had not written up a description for the interview tonight, but I've got one there now. I've got your website there.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I've got the Fu Manchu Bandcamp and their website. I've got the Smile Facebook, I think it is.
Okay.
And I got the Bandcamp for this album that we're going to get into in a minute here. Yeah. Also wanted to mention, we'll tie this up and then we'll focus on the album to fade out here. You guys have a beer for Fu Manchu, I saw.
We do, yeah. It's
California Cali Blood Orange Lager.
Yes, and it's very refreshing.
Who's that through? What's the brewery?
It's a brewery called Alasta Brewing, which is in, I believe, Covina. And yeah, we like beers that are
craft brews.
We're not big IPA fans. More, if we could get regular Coors on the rider, we will. That sort of thing. But especially a lot of the German Pilsners we like. Mm-hmm. And Kolsch's, especially. I'm a big Kolsch lover when it comes to beer. So to get a little blood orange in there, and makes it really nice and crisp, and it's a great summer beer. And we took a bunch of it out to the desert and drank it, and it's really good. I've given it to quite a few people, and they really enjoy it. So it's
Have you ever seen Flying Dog? It's a East Coast brewery. I don't know if they distribute out there, but if you run into Flying Dog, I think they call it Bloodline is what it's called, and it's a blood orange. It's at like an 8.4, man. I mean, you feel it, and you know what? It is so damn good, Scott. It's like, it's just got that really citrusy head to it, but then a nice little bite. I don't know if it's an IPA. It might be though.
Yeah, if it's heavy like that, it probably is. Yeah, because usually Kolsch's and stuff are pretty light.
Fu Manchu has some dates coming up. You're playing a fest in December or November? November.
Yeah, December 1st. Thing called I think it's called Suburban Clampdown. It's actually here at the Garden Grove Amphitheater with Adolescents and 7 Seconds, and then a local show, Wayfarer Costa Mesa, in January. I believe we're gonna maybe do a Pappy and Harriet's in January as well as something in San Diego, and then we won't be doing anything after that until the record comes out, probably May.
Okay, you're working on the record then. For how long? How long do you guys typically work on a record? Is it a pretty quick process, or
we over prepare so that the actual doing of it takes about 3 weeks. This might take a little longer because we're doing a double album.
Okay.
And so it'll be two different kinds of Fu Manchu.
Oh.
At least that's the aim. Okay. So we'll see how that comes out. But yeah, it's really fun. It's some different stuff for us as far as just how things sound, and looking forward to it. So
sweet, man. That sounds interesting. I just wanted to check my notes quick here. And actually it should be noted that at Clampdown, you've got Biohazard headlining. I think the one day you guys are like second on the bill under 7 seconds.
I think so. Yeah.
And you got American Nightmare one night. You got Madball. So some pretty cool bands, pretty eclectic.
Yeah.
And did you say that's at the Grove in Anaheim, or
It's at a place called the Garden Grove Amphitheater in
Okay.
Garden Grove, California. Yeah. So it's a smaller place. I think it might hold, pushing it might be 1,000 people, if that. But there's a lot of hardcore shows that play there. Actually, a lot of hip hop shows too. So
Okay.
it's pretty eclectic mix of stuff going down there. But
How
it
close are
used to
you
be
to
it
the
used to be an
Grove?
amphitheater that they did Shakespeare in the Park in, and I used to live over there, and I used to drive by it and wonder what it would be like if they actually had rock shows there. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think a guy named John Reiser took it over and kind of made it what it is. So so now it's a thriving music venue.
Okay. How far are you from the Grove in Anaheim?
About 15 minutes, maybe. I went there the other night to see Jim Jeffries, actually.
I'm sorry, to see who?
Jim Jeffries.
Oh yeah.
Comedian.
Oh man, there's a name from the past.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Been there a couple times. That's a cool venue, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of almost like a big giant dance hall in a weird way, but it's
Yeah, like a little bit of an airplane hangar and
Yeah.
Art Decoed, and but they treated it pretty well, so it sounds really good. Let's see. Okay.
All right, man. Let's talk about this album. You released on September 29th. You released Lights Out on the Shore. This is your first fully fledged solo album, by my understanding, correct?
Mhm.
And was this self-released or was it through a label? Because I couldn't really figure out what was going on.
Yeah, it's self-released. The record label is Trip Key Records, so it's just me.
It's what?
It's just me.
It's just you.
Okay. I'm the label. Yeah.
You're the label. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about were a lot of these tracks, and I want to look and make sure I get the right number here. You've got 12 tracks on this album, and it's a very varied kind of affair, which is very, very cool. It's not like one particular pigeonholed style. There's a lot, and I've got some notes on some of the tracks, and I'll see if I can actually insult you to the point where you leave by some of the comparisons I draw, but I doubt I will. I think maybe you'll appreciate some of the ideas I have behind it. But and you know how it is, man, as a reviewer or a guy on the outside talking to the musician, we always have to try to draw some parallels to, if you like this, you might like that, or that kind of thing. So we'll get into that in a sec. But were a lot of these songs were these things that you had been working on for a long time, and you pretty much play for the most part, with the exception of a few of the guitar solos, which I think your partner in Fu Manchu, Baltz plays. Are you playing pretty much everything on the album?
Yeah, I played everything on the record. So bass, drums, rhythm guitars, keyboards, percussion, of course, and then I sang everything too. So Bob did the majority of the leads, and then all the guitar effects and things like that you hear. And then my friend Mitch Townsend played on the song Everything But Right, and also the last song As She Drifts, and put a lot of treatments on that. But he played all the pedal steel stuff on that, Everything But Right, and the wah stuff. Actually, there's a little special post coming out tomorrow about that song and the guitars that were used on it.
Okay.
Because they're Martins of a certain significance.
Vintage ones.
And real like 1970 D35s,
Oh,
so
nice.
They're like, So, and he was nice enough to lend it to me for the session. But there's someone else that played that guitar too, and you'll see tomorrow who that was.
Okay.
Not on the session, but elsewhere. But anyways, so yeah, and there was a couple of songs where I think it's not really lead work, but I think the song "A Wind Gone By," I played some of the lead guitar type stuff on the solo section and the end. The song "Daylight Apparitions," I do one of the leads, Bob does one of them, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
Now, were these tracks that you'd been working on for a long time, or did they? Because the way I'm reading it is, you started this in the winter of 21, so clearly, the COVID thing, the lockdown thing to some extent, right?
What's that? What are you talking about?
It's just this.
what are you talking about?
Just this thing I heard about. I don't really know anything about it myself.
I didn't hear anything about that. I didn't hear anything about that.
But I mean, we
don't want to hear anything about that.
We don't, right? It's kind of nice. The world's back to normal, but it's not really back to normal. We won't get into the political end of things.
Let's
you know what I mean. But
talk about
were these songs you'd been working on for a while, or were they things that kind of came together because of being sort of contained?
No, it was. I mean, I had been like the lead single, the TLFN. That's a co-write between me and my friend Mike Rosas that I was in Smile with. That's a song that we did probably in the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
And we never recorded it for Smile. And then they might have done a version. He did do a version of it in another band that he was in, but I had always heard it straight ahead, 4 on the floor, kind of just walking down the street, thing. And I wanted to do a version of that. So, so that song is that old. That's probably the oldest song on the record. And then there's other things that were just ideas that I'd had for a long time. And I think the last song that was written for the record was Daylight Apparitions. But these are songs that I've been working on probably over the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I'd say.
And do you have a home studio that you work out of, or did you do?
No, I just do, garage band stuff. I mean, especially like when Bob and I do the Sun and Sail stuff, he sends me guitar tracks and I just put drums down on them. And then, we'll do that with Fu Manchu riffs. If he's got stuff, he goes, I want to have some drums for these ideas. Right. So when I demoed these, I just asked him if he would play on them. And then I'd go, hey, so this is what I'm thinking for this one. Do your best, whatever. And then he would go and always hit it out of the park. And then I'd listen to the demo, get demo-itis, and go like, oh man, I could never do it better than this. But that was my main surprise with this, is that it turned out way better than I thought it would. And that's all Ryan Mall. That's all him.
Talk about him. Now, that's not a name I'm familiar with, but I am familiar with Gaslight Anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in one of those bands, or is he?
No, he's
a producer.
That's a hippie. No, he is just a producer engineer. He has a studio here in Costa Mesa. It's actually in the backyard of his house in a garage.
Right.
And so we're in the same room, cutting drums off the floor, and then we would just do a song a day, basically. So if I had gone in from beginning to end, I could have done the record in 14 days because it was 14 sessions. But we would just get in when we could. And I originally didn't even know if I was going to do a full record. I wanted to cut the songs that I had and see what happened. And then it started going so well that I just said, okay, we just got to do it. So we did them, we only did the songs that were there. We didn't do more. And we would try and do a song a day, drums, bass, everything was demoed. The basic tracks were demoed. Whoa.
In GarageBand?
In GarageBand, yeah.
Okay.
And then, sorry, there's some epic car racing going on.
I heard a little bit going on around. Yeah. Not too bad though. Not overwhelming.
Yeah. And then, so all the parts were done. So the only parts that really weren't done completely were the vocals, and I had all the vocals kind of fleshed out as far as harmonies and stuff in certain parts. But then Ryan was keen to go, hey, what about a third harmony on that? That would be pretty cool, right? Could you try that? And he was really, I've never sang lead on anything in my life that's been recorded. I've sang in cover bands and stuff like that. But you never anything, except for the Sun and Sail record, did a couple of things with Tony. But to do 3-part harmonies and not blow it and not have him auto-tune it, which he didn't. Yeah. So we didn't use any of that stuff. All this.
Okay, cool.
This is all learning how to sing, Yeah,
and I think I can hear that. And the reason I can hear that is that I listen to a lot of music, and I'm also a musician. I play and write myself, and you can kind of tell, man. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. You can kind of tell what's going on. For example, a good example of that is the new Dokken album. I had to review that and was talking to John Levin the other day. And, Don's voice is not the same. He's 70 years old. And I can kind of tell there's just a little bit of a rounding of things. You know what I mean? And it happens. I mean, it happens in a lot more cases than you would even know in a lot of instances. But in your
Yeah.
case, it's really good. You've got. I'm gonna throw something at you.
Okay.
I kept hearing. Well, two things. Let me do this first. Have you ever heard of a band called Marjorie Fair?
No, I have not actually.
Okay. I'll send it to you in your direct messages or via text here. I want you to check this album out because your album kept that album by them. They put out, I think, one album. And I forget the lead singer's name, Evan or Ethan. I can't remember his name. I saw them open for Porcupine Tree.
Oh, wow.
Back on the West Coast tour in 2005. I was out there helping them out. And this band really struck me because they weren't metal. They weren't hard rock even. They were this kind of ethereal sort of thing. And I hear elements of your album in their sound.
Interesting.
I don't really know if they've done anything since then, and I can't remember the name of the album, but I'll find it, and it's on YouTube, and I'll send it to you. But that was the first thing. But the second thing that really jumped out at me, and here's where I think you're either gonna love me or hate me. I hear some Jerry Cantrell solo album stuff here, man.
Really, that's interesting because I've never listened to his stuff. I'm familiar with it, but I've never listened to what is it?
Well, Boggy Depot is the one that I hear the most of, and I hear parts of Degradation, the more, shall we say, the more indie alt sort of things, not so much the heavier tracks.
Right.
There are some heavy tracks on this album, but I wouldn't say that they're not metal. Okay, they're not.
No, they're more dense. I would say. They're layered. I mean, there's a lot of layering. I mean, there's a lot of songs where there's a couple of acoustics and then electrics over there, and we just built a guitar sound. So
we're gonna get into that for a couple of these songs. The other sounds that I hear a good bit of Granddaddy, Mercury Rev, and Flaming Lips. I hear Flaming Lips.
Okay.
I don't know. You don't sound like Wayne Coyne, but you kind of do at times, and you kind of got a little bit of Cantrell going on in there too. Particularly
I like all that stuff. So I mean, Jerry's stuff, his solo stuff, I'm not really familiar with. Obviously, I love the Flaming Lips, Mercury Rev's awesome. So I mean, those are all bands that I'm definitely fans of.
Cool. So I didn't piss you off then.
Oh no. There's definitely some more uncool influences on this record.
Well, tell me about those then. I'm curious to hear what you say are the things that helped you form these tunes.
Well, I mean, the songs themselves, the idea, at least my main goal with the record itself, is for there to be songs, for there not to be. This isn't a noise rock exploration record. I love that stuff. I always will be a fan of it, and people that do it well. But it's not a band; it's one person. So I had to be able to sit in front of you with an acoustic guitar and play the songs and have them be songs, so that you could tell that there were changes, that the lyrics were thought about. The band that I am in, our main thrust of what we do is the riff, and so we have
who was it?
Three is the riff. We have three incredible guitar players.
Okay.
So and the songs are different. So this is definitely, you're never gonna, nobody in Fu Manchu's ever gonna touch an acoustic guitar,
Right.
But I've been in love with those sounds since I was a kid, because my dad and his friends used to sit around with their guitars and play, and it's just one of those things where if you can do it, you learn songs that are not. I mean, I know this is a metal show, but I mean, if you learn how to finger pick Leader of the Band by Dan Fogelberg, I mean, that's a hard song to play, but it teaches you things, and it teaches you things about chords and how, I mean, the guitar has always fascinated me because I'm not a good player. I'm not a lead player, but I like rhythm, obviously. So I'm more of a rhythmic player. And then when it comes to melodies and stuff, I seem to do a thing where I if I'm kind of scatting an idea or whatever, I never sing with the stuff. I always try and go counter to it. And but that kind of stuff, that was my goal, really. So my influences were songwriters, Terry Reid, David Crosby, Justin Hayward, Stephen Stills, of course.
Amazing.
You know,
Amazing stuff.
those kind of things are also, you know, I mean, I love me some Dale Crover and some Melvins and, you know, some Screaming Trees and some Soundgarden and Tad and all of that kind of stuff.
Right,
But
right.
I love that other stuff too, you know, and
So do I, dude.
you'd be amazed at the, you know, the yacht rock sessions we have on the bus with Fu Manchu, and, you know,
Steely Dan, come on, man.
Yeah,
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan and Christopher Cross and, you know, all this kind of stuff.
That was the other guy. I felt like your voice has a little bit of moments of Christopher Cross, not the high end, but that kind of lower end that he can do, like on Ride with the Wind. So there was that I heard a little bit of, and you know, you brought up David Crosby. I mean, man, you know, God, man, his first solo album is just
that's the thing right there.
It's the shit.
Mm-hmm, it is the shit, and it's like it's been a constant. I was lucky enough to see him in, I think 2019. We went to see him at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills, and he was insane. Like, so his voice had so much. It was like a bell. It was like a clear bell. And I just couldn't believe that the guy had done what he said he did to himself throughout his life.
All the drugs and
then he could sing like that. I mean,
insane, right?
You know, yeah. I mean, he opened up the second half of the show with Lee Shore, just him and an acoustic. I was like, what?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah.
So
that's you brought up talking about him. That brings up another a kind of reference point for me as I go through some of these tracks. I also hear a good bit of kind of I would say it's the more SoCal Topanga Canyon vibe of the Byrds, but without the 12 string. There's that kind of, and I love the Byrds, man. I mean, I love the Byrds. So there's that kind of that coolness, and I think it comes out with a lot of your multi-layered harmonies that you're doing. You all right?
Yeah. Just heard a noise behind me. Is my dog.
Somebody sneaking up on you there. Okay.
Yeah.
But a couple quick, and I also hear some Dinosaur Jr. in here. I don't know if that was kind of one. I hear a little bit of that, and there was one other one. Now I'm blanking when we were talking about. I'll see if I get to my notes here. I just wanted to note a couple tracks. You know, when I say Cantrell, I guess maybe another better reference point, other than maybe even his solo stuff, might be kind of the Jar of Flies or the Sap EPs of Alice. Because the things are much more lower key and less metallic and crunchy. You're not going to get any sweep picking on this album. You're not going to get any, like, you know, crushing down-tuned riffs. This is really good singer-songwriter type stuff, as you mentioned. So
yeah, I check that out. I will.
Yeah, so Flying Too Low, you know, that has that kind of mournful, drony, almost kind of a hazy driving through the night sort of vibe. Like you could just, you know, if you were in a convertible and you threw the top down and put that track on repeat, it would just be kind of like Beck. There's another reference point, Beck, like Sea Changes or something like that.
Sea Change for sure, yeah.
Which is a beautiful album.
Big time, yeah. Big time.
Yeah, and you have this sort of really warm, sort of chilled voice. I think that's why I came up with the Cantrell vibe, because Jerry's always kind of got that warm, smoky sort of voice. You know what I mean? That you just kind of gravitate to. A Stitch in Time really has. Now that one does have some Alice vibes on the chorus, if you ask me. That's probably one of the heavier tracks on the album. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and that was, I mean, definitely an unintentional thing, because I didn't plan to do a 3-part harmony on that, and so again, Ryan kind of reaching in and going, "You can do this, try it," and then me doing it and going, I mean, I like it, but I don't know if it's cool enough. I don't even, you know, and he's going like, "Don't worry about that. It's great."
Well, when you get to the chorus and the vocal line, "Close the door behind you as you slip into the noose, or as you slip?"
Oh, you're talking about Lights Out on the Shore, the title.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Is that what I thought I said that? That was my bad. Oh yeah, I did. I jumped. My bad. Bad. We were talking about Flying Too Low. Okay, so that is the heavier one, but it's got, as you said, it's got that kind of I don't know, it's got a weird narcotic-y feel to it. Does that make any sense to you? Like almost like had a couple beers and you're just kind of like laying back.
Kind of hazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throbbing. I was going for throbbing.
And
I mean,
and
a
it
lot of
worked.
that stuff, especially like Lights Out on the Shore, because it's a weird tuning. It's a dad fac tuning, so there's a drone to it, and you can play chord shapes in that tuning, even like thumb over the the top stuff.
What tuning were you playing in?
It's a dad fac.
Dad fac.
DADFAC, not a dad gad.
Yeah, not that gad, right?
No, it's dad fac, and so
I don't think I've ever messed with that one before.
it gives it a little bit of a little bit of sort of a sorrowful kind of thing, but also kind of hopeful. But yeah, the line in that song that you're talking about is "Close the door behind you as you lean into the news."
As you lead into the news.
As you lean into
it.
Oh,
lean into the news.
Yeah,
okay.
like you just like
like you're just ready. You're ready to go. Yeah.
Someone had just told you something, and you're
I'm
taking
out.
it in. You're taking it in.
Man, that is such a great chorus, Scott. It's so, I don't know, man. It's just like every time I hear it, I'm like, it gets better and better. And you're doing 3-part harmonies on that as well. And it's just that one, man, like really right away, I'm like, man, that is a total earworm kind of chorus there. And super cool. But I got to tell you, my favorite song on the album, man, without question, Furs and Fires, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that song is beautiful, man.
That's mine too. Yeah.
It is just the drug-induced smiles, take the pain away, think I'm going to stay. So much you can read into that with everybody's lives today and just the insanity of what we deal with. And, I don't know that you're going for prescription pill, a comment on prescription pills, but whatever is apropos,
whatever your toxin is, it does. Everybody's got theirs. Some days mine's coffee, some days it's bourbon. So some days it's both.
And that's actually the one that I really hear that Birdsey sort of vibe to it. The David Crosby, Stephen Stills, CSNY sort of beauty. That really that sweet spot, right?
Yeah, well, and it's also kind of hard too because you got when you play and the chords in that song are not they're nothing crazy, but it's just kind of like doing that. You need to come up with something that's not super derivative, I guess. And I don't know if I did that. I just know that I liked that line, and I like the way I like the line and the way the harmonies fit into it more than I really cared like what people thought it meant.
Right.
So that was more of the driver in it, and then the rest of the lyrics are kind of loosely interpreted as like letting someone go or letting something go.
Right.
They may not want to.
Yeah, and I mean, I know as a songwriter, one of the last things sometimes you want to do is try to spell out what you were trying to say. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just you come up with words and they might be stream of consciousness and they might mean something to you, but they might mean something entirely different to somebody else. And that's part of the fun of it all. It's like you have your meaning for the song and it means what you want it to mean to you. And that's, a good thing. But that song, really fantastic. First One's From the Sky, man. That's another banger, man. That's another super. If you want to go, where's the metal? That might be kind of almost, but not really. It's kind of.
That's my sci-fi tune.
Is it? So what were you trying to convey there? Just a feeling of
just kind of like a
paranoia.
Kind of, yeah, and kind of going like maybe you lived your entire life doing something, but then something happened, and you felt it. It's almost kind of like conveying a deja vu feeling. Going, that's it. Especially the the First Ones From the Skies, They Taught Me How to Lie, is kind of looking to something else to basically make your impression upon the world, and learn how to do that by making up stories, because you look to that's what people did originally. They looked at the stars, and that's what inspired them, and so they made up stories. That's where that line, I was reading something about it in a book about guys that were on ships, and they would use the stars to navigate.
Right, sure.
And would come up with the stories about what the stars meant. And so, but then it's also about the people that were coming from the skies, and that, you know, they had something to tell us, and we knew that when we heard them coming, that things were going to change, you know. So that was kind of, I had a little movie in my head, and
Little X-Files episode, kind of, sort of.
Kind of, yeah, you know. And I wanted to get that in there. Hey, you know what? Austin was just messaging me, and I forgot I have an 8 o'clock too.
Okay.
So we might have to wrap sooner than I wanted to, but
yeah,
I like this conversation.
Well, cool. We'll wrap real quick here. But I did want to say on First Ones, man, that has some of the best harmony vocals on the out. I mean, they were the first ones from the sky, and just the way you're layering. There's, like you said, a lot of layers on this album, a lot of earworms. And I will say, as I said, I didn't really know who you were, and now I know who you are, and I got to get this album. So one of the things I wanted to ask you was, I don't see a CD option. I only see an LP option. Is that?
Yeah, only vinyl and streaming. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we'll do it for now.
Okay.
It's just not it's fine when you're self-releasing. It's not a financially viable option to make CDs too, when you could make vinyl and people covet that a little bit more, and it's a little bit more of my chosen aesthetic, if you would.
You know, there's a lot of, I don't know if you know this, but a good friend of mine owns Bind Rune Recordings, and he does a lot of like black metal and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know what pressing plan he uses, but he uses one, I think, over in Czechoslovakia, I think, or Czech Republic. And they actually do the entire thing for one package price. They put a CD in it in like a little jacket. Cool. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna look into grabbing a copy of this. The variant is super cool. My only problem is I don't have a vinyl player right now, so it'll sit for a while. But I'll figure something out there. But yeah. So the last one I kind of wanted to talk about was Everything But Right.
Okay.
Dude, it's like a country song in a lot of ways, but it's a cool country song. It's not like a Garth Brooks, America country. It's that. I don't know. What was your inspiration for that?
It's like country.
Well, okay.
like real country.
It's real country.
It's real country. Yeah. I mean, it's like a Charlie Rich song. There you go. If I could make a song that was like a song on Behind Closed Doors, I would do it. Definitely. And, a lot of these songs too, I would want them to be good enough that if someone heard it, they could cover it and not feel embarrassed about covering it. And I would love to hear other people's interpretations of the stuff, if possible. There might be something coming up in the future for Flying Too Low.
Like a remix or something, like a remix contest.
I'll keep it on the DL. But they're
all right, man.
But that, like songs like that, and I have a bunch of songs that are definitely not. I don't even know if they're anything that I would release, but they come out and I go, whoa, is that for me or is it for somebody else? I don't even know. But as Brad Davis says, just make music. So you just got to make the music and then decide where to put it. And so,
okay. So we were gonna play some tracks, but I don't. What I might do, if you got a bolt, maybe I'll play a couple tracks. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
with you not here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, maybe I'll play 2 tracks for the people that are watching at the end, 2 or 3 of my favorites. And I did want to ask you real quick. How long have you been playing all the other instruments beside the drums?
Guitar I've been playing since about the late 80s. I don't play bass at all, really. I just had to kind of learn my way through that.
Right.
And I've been playing piano off and on since I was a kid. And I've been singing since I was in Smile, doing songs, backups, and trying to do stuff there. So,
well, you got a great lead vocal, man. No lie. Vocals are always the thing that changes things for me, always in a band.
Yeah.
And I have to say, man, I gravitated to your voice after the first or second listen. I was like, man, there's something here. I got to go back. And those are always the best albums when you go, I don't know if I really liked it, but I got to go back and check it out. And then the second time I was like, yeah, that song rules, or that song's
cool. Really no, that's good. That's great. That's kind of what I wanted. I want people to be able to not passively listen. It's like they have to just, if you're going to listen to it, obviously I want people to listen from beginning to end and hear the whole thing, because there's a continuity to it. I mean, album order is important to me, and lyrics are important to me, and those kind of things you got to check those boxes, I think, if you're going to make an album with this kind of style of music.
Sure.
And really try to make it, like I said, like you could sit in a room with people and play them the songs, and then maybe they take them and they do their own things with them. And that's the idea, is just to get the music out there. So yeah, it's great that you go back to things, because that
last thing, and I'll let you dip out. How many albums were made? Was it only 50? Did I see that right?
The U.S. pressing is, I think the overall pressing is like 600 or something.
Okay.
So I got 50 for the U.S. I may get a little more. Those are all like signed and numbered and pretty much gone.
Is that the colored one?
I did get more after the signed and numbered ones were gone. So
and they're coming from you? Are they coming from you?
Yeah, and I'll be signing and numbering just the ones that I have that are over the 50. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you can get that on Bandcamp. Check out Scott's website. He does give drum lessons through Skype or whatever, StreamYard or whatever.
Zoom. Yeah.
Zoom. And I don't know. Do you take, like, if people are looking to bring you in for a gig, like to play on someone's record, do you do that?
Yeah, I do session stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Session. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. I'm gonna play a couple tunes.
Awesome.
Just to kind of get people to hear the stuff. And,
okay.
If you ever want to come back on and do a longer sort of talk, man, just hit me up. Austin's got my info.
Okay. Awesome, man.
Well, you got my phone number. You just hit me up directly. So
that's true.
Just do that. It was a pleasure talking to you. And
thank
really
you.
Killer album, dude.
Thanit. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. Good convo, dude. Thank you.
All right, man.
Okay.
Take care.
Have a great night. Okay.
All right, you too, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, we'll do a couple quick songs since he had to dip out. And I guess what I'll do. Oh, let's see. I think I'm going to play the 3 songs that I really dig. We'll do Lights Out on the Shore, probably A Stitch in Time, Lights Out on the Shore, Birds and Fires. Although, man, I really kind of want to play First One from the Skies. Tell you what, let's do First Ones from the Sky. And I got to do this right here. All right. I don't know how well this is going to translate. I've gotten complaints that you can't hear right and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this is it. Jacket Thief, Lights Out on the Shore. And there's the vinyl variant, blue with black splatter. Pretty cool. Hold on. There we go. And 12 songs. And I guess if you're buying this from Bandcamp, you're buying it directly from Scott, and he said he would sign and number them, which is kind of cool. So it is, how much is it? 50 copies at 35 as a vinyl. I mean, man, that's, I'm not going to lie, and if Scott was here, I would have said the same thing. The vinyl prices are getting kind of out of hand. I bought a brand new Sulfur Aeon today, was $32, and with shipping it was $39, and I had to pucker my butthole for that because that, it's just a lot of money. But in this case, that it's a very limited run, and Scott's a solo artist by himself, so he's probably fronting all the money to get these pressed, and so he's doing the best he can to keep the price as low as possible. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna go with where are we going first? Sorry. First One's from the Sky. Somebody let me know if you can hear that.
I had no idea what it meant to see someone just like
Let me know in the comments whether you can hear. Okay.
Someone to make it good, or even if they could. And I can't explain it when this journey ends. Place that I needed to go, place that I did not know. They were the first ones from the skies. They taught me how color this song. I know it won't be long. These are the hands you know. Will they hold you down? Thinking you're in the turn, then it's too late. You learn this newfounded time can only get better. This sun, it never shines, it's only getting wetter. They were the first ones from the skies. They taught me how to lie. And when I hear the call that song, I know it won't be.
Dig that song. Now, the other one we'll do 4 tracks actually. We'll do Lights Out on the Floor.
Pick me up and lay me down. I grow tired of this town. It hiding everything inside. Well, I'm alright. I can't fight. I am choosing not to take up arms tonight. Make me go before my time. Make me reason with no rhyme. Well, you could tell I wish you well, but I feel like I should ease my mind. Close the door behind you as you lean into the news. Use your hands instead of mine. It's one way home, the lights out on the shore. Take me out and watch me drown. In your head there is no sound. Well, I have surfaced with all my might. When I feel like I should ease my mind. Close the door behind you as you lean into the news. Use your hands instead of mine. It's one way home, the lights out on the shore. as you lean into the news. Use your hands instead of mine. It's one way home, there's one way home. Put my feet back in the ground. 6 feet under, going down. In the eye of all my storms. There's one way home, the lights out on the shore.
Really, really great harmony vocals on this, man. Kind of stunning that he was had trepidation about being a lead vocalist. All right, we'll go with Stitch in Time. I might actually do about half this album now. There's a lot of really good songs on here.
We're getting nowhere. We're doing fine. I'm wasting nothing. Respond in kind. Come feel the water that flows sublime. Reach for the answer. It's the darkness lies. Mistakes that I make so fine. There's no telling yours from mine. You think you're ready, but you never know. Your feet keep moving to shield the blows. And I disconnected with my fellow man and left him running with bloody hands. Mistakes that I made so fine.
Yeah, I just realized too. I think his voice sounds like holy shit.
Mistakes that I made so fine. There's no telling yours from mine. Stitching time saves my mind. 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 Mistakes that I made so fine. There's no telling yours from mine. Mistakes that I made so fine.
What's up, Nate? What's up? Man, this fucking album is so good. I'm not lying. This is so good, guys. I might end up playing most of it. I'm not lying. Now I want to do hold on. I'm not gonna play every song, but I want to play hold on, that was Lights Out on the Shore. We already did that. We did first one from the skies. Let's do these three. We'll do three more. This song is so good, man. Super freaking simple too, man.
You can break up fire and ice as you
But I just realized
like a wind
his voice has a very Tim Mitchell vibe to
break
it.
up fire and ice as you dance around like a wind gone by. When you meet the stranger, you know they have a touch. fun you had was a bit too much. Now they lay before you and the light has left their
What's up, Logan?
eyes.
Yeah. We only have an hour and it's a little bit late because of traffic deal. What's up, Nate? 40 Years of Love, man. My favorite album by them. That's a fucking banner fucking album. Oh, yeah, Logan, this album is so good, man. It's not metal, it's not heavy, it's just good. Great song. Yeah, it's got 70s garage rock to it, yeah. I love this album, dude. Only on vinyl, though. Only on vinyl. 50 copies, man. I gotta rob a bank. Well, that's right. I'm getting disability. Maybe I don't have to rob a bank. Of course, I never know when that's coming. I don't hear Nickelback. You hear Nickelback? What, in the voice, maybe? Yeah. I guess kind of, man. But that's such a... That's a little bit of food, but not really. But I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I can hear a little food. Not so much Nickelback, except for maybe his voice. But go listen to Go for Soda by Kim Mitchell, man. Yeah, such a Kim Mitchell vibe. I kept trying to remember who the fuck it sounded like. It just hit me on that last song. Even the harmonies are Kim Mitchell. Yeah, none of this is like super fucking complicated or complex. It's just good earworm songs, man. The chorus is on a lot of these songs. Stellar. Now, I don't hear. I just don't hear. I don't even hear Chad Kroger's voice. Not much. Maybe a tiny little bit, but barely. All right, let's see what else we're gonna do. We're gonna do some kind of murder.
It's not so bad in here as I pretend to disappear. What have I
think I'm gonna get hammered tonight.
But easily confused, sweet and sour, hold me down, because by now we've come to ground. Women in luck will get away, some kind of murder. Weight is heavy all this time. Take a look beneath these eyes. Think about my
bedroom right now.
Till I turn it over again. Sweet and sour, holding ground. Because by now you brought me down.
I'm such a good chorus.
Some kind of murder. Women in love will get away. Some kind of murder.
One more. This one's cool right here.
I thought I had it figured.
I love this song, man. It's like Weezer, but it's great.
But fascination lasts for just so long. And I know
Of course, this one's great. Again.
All the reasons why I'm still here. But you're playing it safe, being totally insincere. So make me believe, make me believe. Now you're saying that it's right, but I'm thinking that you might be wrong. Said that I could wait.
Got that indie pop, a little bit of funk vibe to it.
If I run out of things to say, then at least we've had our day, and we walk away without the bitter aftertaste.
Yeah, very, very different from Fu Manchu. And I think on purpose, he said, yeah. He was trying to do basically a singer-songwriter album. It had a little bit of a indie alt-rock edge, and I think it's great, man. This album has grown on me so much over the last couple of listens.
True love forever.
I'm used to listening to, and that's cool. A little solo here by Bob Balch, I believe.
Now you're saying that it's right, but I'm thinking that you might be wrong.
One more song. This is the best one. To me, this is the best song on the album. It's so good, man. But that's saying something, because I like about, honestly, I like 9 out of 10 tracks, 9 out of 12 tracks on it. The three that I'm a little iffy on are the last three. I just wasn't in the right frame for those. All right, this is, to me, this is kind of the winner of the album, even though it may have, I wouldn't exactly say it's got the most catchy, like earwormy structure to the song. It's just, to me, the most beautifully recorded. It's just got, I don't know, man. It's like how do I explain it, man? It's like if Weezer did a Cocteau Twins track or something. It's got this dreamy, shoegazy, beautiful quality. Here we go. Left this in the freezer last night. Frozen salad. Blueberry sangria.
Take the pain away. Drug induced smiles. Think I'm gonna stay. You're in a better place now.
Got a little bit of Floyd, yeah. I don't know about Trower, but guitar-wise.
You learn to draw the line by now. Even when you ask for more, drug-induced smile.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's doing three-part harmonies on the lead.
Drug-induced smiles.
I told him he sounded a little bit like Christopher Cross here. You know, like Sailing or Ride Like the Wind. Love that shit. Yacht Rock, man. You don't like Yacht Rock? Fuck you. Leave my stream. I don't care. Shit's great, man. But you also got to be of a certain age, I think. Yeah, he's layering the harmonies on the lead vocal. Right there. Yeah, very different from Fu Manchu, though. Very different. If you missed the beginning, we talk a lot about Rush, Alex Lifeson, him playing on one of the tracks, and the Fu Manchu stuff leads us off. I love Supertramp, man. Crown of the Century, even in the quietest moments. Fucking killer shit, man. Love this song. Yeah, Christ is what Christ is Christ. Yeah, did I juice that up? No, I thought it was called Crown of the Century. One with the right, the bloody well right, and school. Man, I gotta tell you guys, this album kind of floored me because when the promotional guy or publicist reached out to me, there's the information right there, by the way, guys. Jacket Thief on Bandcamp. $7 for the album digitally. Where else here? There's the variant, cool variant, and 35 is a little salty, but again, Scott's doing it all himself. Sounds like he's signing and numbering them, which is kind of cool. So I got to get an order into him, but yeah, it came out the 29th, pretty much self-released. It's got Bob Balch from Foos on it. Scott does everything else, and he got recording and mixed by Ryan Mall, which I hate to say I don't know, but he talked about that earlier. Yeah, that's kind of the end of that. I would say, maybe trying to, support this guy, go out and buy an album. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to listen to this album quite a bit in coming months. And who knows, it could even end up in, as a year end of a non-metal thing. It's the problem with my channel is I do a lot of metal on it, but I'm not metal at all. I'm not exclusively metal at all. I listen to so much other shit, right? I mean, so much other shit. And I just got this in today. Thin Lizzy box set with all eight shows of this tour that this album was culled from, and it's really nice, man. Real hardbound books. A little on the small side though. It's like a 10-inch record as opposed to a 12-inch, maybe a little smaller than that, 8-inch maybe. Yeah. So I listen to that kind of stuff, and I listen to this kind of stuff. I love fucking Hawkwind, and I love Steven Wilson, his new album. Really fucking amazing album, man. It's really good. I listen to Ultravox. I love this band. So, yeah, man. So it's kind of like, you know, I listen to a lot of extreme metal. I talk about a lot of extreme metal, and I love a lot of extreme metal, but I'm just not just an extreme metal dude. So, okay, real quick and this will illustrate what I'm talking about. On Tuesday night, my daughter and I we're going to resume the Dad series. I may do one in between now and then on Saturday. I'm not sure. I got to reach out to some people. It won't be anything tomorrow because that's heavy metallurgy night, and I try not to conflict with them unless I have no choice. Yeah, so Sunday, Prague Metal Island, 1 p.m. here on Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. I've got Roger Jordvik. I've got Johnny Mac from Rock and Metal Plus. What's up, Nick? You missed everything. I've got Scott had to bail out. We did about an hour, and then I played pretty much about 2/3 of the solo album. It's really fucking great. Okay, Roger. I've got Johnny Mac from Rock and Metal Plus. I've got Jurgen from Six Spears, Nine Wives. I've got Nick and John from Thralls of Metal. Jam and John and Nick. I've got Logan, who was in here a little bit ago, from Drunken Metal Musings. I've got Serge, I think. Serge is going to be here. I'm not 100% sure. I might have Jimmy from Future Ruins pop on later in the night. Who am I missing here? Did I get everybody? There's 10 of us, so I had to have missed somebody, right? Nick, you should know who's all on my who's on my fucking here we go. Jam and John, Johnny Mac, Serge, Jurgen, Nick, Eric Berg from Psychic Vacuum, the young buck Canuck, my dude, Logan, me, and Dave Ernst, who you've not met. Ernie Ernst, my bro from forever, man. High school, right out of high school, we met working a summer job, and we've been seriously best friends forever. We've seen a million shows together, drank a lot of alcohol together, probably smoked a little weed together at one point in time. I did not drop acid, though. Neither did he. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He didn't eat mushrooms either. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, so that's Prague Metal Island, Sunday, 22nd, 1 p.m. here. On Tuesday, my daughter and I, probably 8 or 9 p.m., we're going to do the Dad series, and we're going to do George Harrison. She's doing In a Material World, and I are Living in a Material World, or In a Material World. Forget what the title is. In a Material World, I think. And I'm doing All Things Must Pass from George Harrison, the great George Harrison. So, is Frank Marino coming on soon? Nah, he won't come on to do a video thing. No. Well, I am going to get him back to do another audio interview, but he doesn't do video interviews. So I did do an interview with him, Andre, in case, I don't know if you're aware of that. I did a 2-hour interview with him that's got like almost 1,400 views, man. I mean, that's blown up, and one of my better, in my opinion, one of my better interviews. Kind of hard to hear. You got to kind of adjust your volume a little bit at times, but Frank doesn't do the video thing, but he does the audio thing. I'm going to get him on soon to talk. Yeah, dude, I don't do the Amish hats, man. I'm going to get him back on to talk about the new stomp boxes he's building, the Frank Marino audio. Upcoming things, depending on a lot of stuff. Next Saturday, the 28th, Catacombs of Depravity, the last episode, the Halloween special. We've got Dennis and I, Dennis OG Press, and myself as host. Jimmy from Future Ruins, Chromium Dioxide from Chromium Dioxide Radio is going to make an appearance. I think Eric Bauer may make an appearance. Nick may make an appearance. Rick from the Dreadful Minutes is going to be here. Matt from the Accusation Network is going to be here. Todd, I'm sorry. Hold on. I guess I can look you up here. Todd, is it Paulson, man? I think. Todd Anderson, sorry. And I think he has a channel. I'm not sure. Does he have a channel? No, he has a Facebook profile. Anyway, he's big into horror movies and biking and all kind of stuff. So he's joining us. Who else? And that's going to be all horror movies, top 10 favorite horror movies, soundtracks, all that kind of shit. So we're doing that. And who else? Yeah, I don't have that list. You have to check the video out that I did with Dennis yesterday, day before yesterday, whatever. Last items here. What else do I have? Oh, so probably another dad episode on Saturday if I can get that worked out. I'm going to try and see if I can get Johnny Mack in here to do Warrior Soul. If not, I will check to see if Jake wants to do Metallica or Roger wants to do Metal Church. I'm not sure. I'm not giving these guys a lot of lead time, so they may not be able to do it. But definitely on Tuesday, my daughter and I are doing George Harrison. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that are slowly lining up. Derek Vella is going to be coming on. Dream Unending, Tomb Mold. We're going to talk about the new Tomb Mold, Dream Unending, and the new Worm collaboration. I'm going to see if there's any way he can get Phantom Slaughter on, but I don't know if that'll happen. That's probably more to the end of the month. Also, the guys from Horrendous are going to come on. I don't know how many. I don't know if it's going to be one or two or all four. I'm not sure yet, but that's coming up in the next probably 2 weeks. Horrendous. They just dropped a new album in late August. I don't know the name of it. It's some complicated name. Nick will know it. Omnium, Omniscium, something, whatever. Sorry. I don't remember the name of it. And then Don Anderson, hopefully with maybe more Agalock dudes, but maybe just Don. We're going to talk about the reformation of Agalock. We're definitely going to talk about them headlining the Decibel Fest in Denver in December. And I have feelers out to a number of fairly big names in metal. Mostly metal, yeah. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see if we can get a couple more good guests on here. A couple of people I've checked in with before, and I'm kind of, this is a last-ditch effort to get them in. Ontological Mysterium, thank you. Ontological Mysterium. Sounds like a personal problem. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it. I think I'm done. I was going to do a hang afterwards, but I don't know. It's probably just me and Nick that would be hanging. I don't think anybody else would. Yeah, dude, I really like that album. I was listening to that and Tomb Mold back to back. I think I have a favorite out of them. I like them both. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But I really like Ontological, man. That album is pretty fucking cool. A lot of cool hooky guitars. And, you know, I kind of like the vocals on it, man. That sort of screamy, raspy sort of thing. Pretty kick-ass. So, anybody got any quick questions about the Scott Reeder interview? Go back and watch the beginning of it. Really cool dude. He ran into some major time crunch to get on at 10 like it was supposed to be. We didn't get started until 10:20, which kind of cut the length of the interview down. I think we still did close to an hour, but I know Rancy Pazuzu, dude. I've already seen him. Yep. Very interesting band. Very interesting band. I don't know whether they'd come on though. They're Polish, so I don't even know I don't think they speak English very well. The main dude might, but they didn't when I saw him down at Death Fest back in 17 or 18. I forget what it was. Yeah. Should I break out the cheap blueberry sangria? Nick, you going to come on if I fire up the stream, or are you not into it? I might drink a little bit. Let me know. Scary Halloween music. Sounds heavy, proggy. Yeah, they're very creepy sounding, man. Their last album was really, really good show. Yeah, Andre, good to see you here, man. Sign up. If you didn't sub up to the channel, please do. And you know, I've got a lot of good content that's already there that you might be interested in. I am trying to get Mike Scheit from Yob. I really want to get him on. I've struck out a little bit so far. I'm kind of bummed about that, but and as I mentioned, the new Steven Wilson album that came out at the end of the month, 29th, called Harmony Codex, the Harmony Codex. Man, it's real good. Really, 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 really good. So, yeah, I don't know how long you're talking, man. I mean, if I get to drinking another drink or something, I might just, crash. But if you're talking like 20, 25 minutes, yeah. If you're talking like an hour, probably not. Thanks, Andre. Check out the rest of the content, man. Some good stuff here, and I'm hoping I can get Scott back on. That'd be cool if I could do that. So, all right, I think that's yep. That is the stuff, Brian. Yeah, we did a deep dive with Logan and Kellen on that one back April, May, or March, I guess it was, or maybe it was April, or maybe it was February. Fuck, I don't know. I just make this shit. I don't know. I rarely ever go back and look at it. I mean, if I have to reference something, I will. But I'm always kind of moving forward. It's like I understand when a lot of musicians say they really don't spend a lot of time. All right, Nick, hang on a minute. Give me like 5 minutes here, wrap up and start a stream. It's kind of, I get it when a lot of musicians say, I've moved on. After I've written that album and we've recorded it and I've heard it 8,000 times, as we're mixing it and recording it and mixing it, mastering it, I'm just kind of done, man. I don't need to go back and listen to it because I lived it, every note of it. And it's kind of weird. Like Nick probably agrees with this. So, you kind of, when you make content and you're trying to bring cool stuff, that you got to understand, I do this stuff for me first. Like I absolutely do this stuff for me very first. I interview guys I want to interview because of me. I spend the time researching because I want to do good interviews, and hopefully the guest will be impressed. Like Scott said tonight, wow, I'm really enjoying this conversation. I wish I didn't have to go, but I got a later one. So, and when you do it for yourself, or you're doing your deep dives, or you're doing your reviews like Nick does, man, it's just kind of, you're in your own little world of your thing. And if you're sharing it with, other contributors, you're kind of getting off on that shared experience of love for whatever this band or this album or this song or this type of music or genre or whatever. And that's kind of what, that's why we do this. And the fact that other people want to jump in and ride along is super cool. It's super cool. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm working on this, getting Rick Emmett in. I hope I'm close. With that. Because that would be awesome to have Rick Emmett come in. That only means I'd need to get Alex Lifeson in here to have my 3 favorite guitarists ever. I've already had Frank Marino. If I get Rick Emmett, that'd be killer. And I doubt I'm going to be able to pull Alex Lifeson. Under the best of circumstances, I don't see that happening. I did meet him, and that was fucking amazing and super killer, but I just don't see that he's going to come, come on my tiny little show. So, all right, guys, we might do a hang, Nick and I, and I'll see if there are other people that are out west who want to jump on. But I think I'm going to wrap it here. Check out the early part of the interview, please. Check out the links in the description. He has a website. If you're a drummer and you want to get, drum lessons, check it out. He does, in home stuff, and he does stuff on the interwebs. Also, there's links in there for the Bandcamp, for Jacket Thief, for the album Lights Out on the Shore, and Fu Manchu is in there. His other band, Smile, that he was in his younger days, has a Facebook page in there as well. So yeah, that's got to mix some of the alcohol up, man. It's gonna be a slushy. Oh, woo! good in blueberry. All right, guys. I'm gonna dip out. If you want to hang out in the chat for the post stream, we'll be live in about 5 minutes or so. All right. Thanks for hanging out, Brian. Andre, thanks for coming in. We had Logan in for a little bit. We had Nate was here for a little bit. So if you guys are still here, bounce over to the other one, and we'll hang out there for a short while, maybe an hour, hour and a half, something like that. I'm not going until 5 a.m. I got to get some stuff done for this prog stream. So see ya, guys.